Hey guys, before we get into today's episode, I just want to give a quick heads up. This conversation includes some heavy and sensitive topics, things like mental health, trauma, and other experiences that might be triggering for some people. If that's you, please take care of yourself. Reach out to someone you trust or contact a local support service. These conversations are real and raw, but they're shared to bring hope, healing, and understanding. Well, Jason Apps, welcome to the Rise Above podcast, mate. It's a pleasure to have you here. There's a lot of people, mutual friends that we have, mate, that when I started this have said that I need to get you on. So grateful for them. And I thought just start it by sharing who you are and I suppose what led you here today. But then I suppose where it all started for you, your journey. Grew up in Bega, and what was life like for you, mate, growing up?
Thanks for having me,
No,
Wesley. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah, we do have a few mutual friends, but glad I can come on and share my story with you and the crew you got going. So I grew up in Bega. I'm a fifth generation dairy farmer, which is a bit of a strange one. I had a pretty cool upbringing, I guess, on the coastal town of Bega and Tafra there. So back and forth between dairy farm life and going to the beach most weekends. So it was a cool upbringing. I got three older brothers. I'm the youngest of four boys, and the second youngest of a massive family. I got like 24 first cousins. So Christmases are pretty big at Granddad's house on the farm. So I spent most of my childhood on the farm, working weekends, milking cows, playing. I grew up playing rugby league, cricket, soccer, every sport there was that I could get a day off school as well. I'd sign up for it. I even signed up for AFL, which wasn't my greatest thing. And then, so growing up on the South Coast it's a epic place to grow up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It does get cold, but you don't really feel it too much back then when you're a bit younger. And then, at the age of 14, I ended up moving to Newcastle with my mum. She got a job up there at the university. So that was a fun time of my life to change things up and head to the city, I guess. So I was 14 years old and moved up there and went to school, played rugby league. And I guess I was 16, I was at high school, I was doing a work experience with a family friend and decided to do some carpentry. I thought I really loved carpentry at the time. So when I did some work experience and just coincidentally there was a chippy, a builder on site who thought he might he wanted me to work for him essentially, and I was only 16. So I decided I'd give it one more year until I was 17, driver's license, and moved back and spent a little bit of time with my dad before I started work life, which took me to 17 years old, started an apprenticeship carpentry in Newcastle, which was, it was good fun.
Yeah, nice, mate. You spoke before about playing all sports. Growing up in the country, I was the same. You did, every sport you could potentially jump at. And I think back then we had the opportunity because a lot of it didn't cost a lot of money. You know, when you look at this day and age, I know with my own kids, it's like if they wanted to do everything that we did as kids, send us broke. But then you think of the parents that, take you to all this and the trainings and the games and stuff like that. It's, especially in your family having four boys, that would have been a lot going on there. But, mate, you do the apprenticeship, you start that. What was next for you as far as, was that something you continued on?
Yeah, so I started at 17 when I was in uni. Just got my P's working. All my friends were at university in Wollongong, so I was odd one out. I was only one out of my whole friend group, which was pretty much doing an apprenticeship, and the boys were just partying and on holidays flat out, living off Centrelink, living the dream. And I was a bit tough for me. I was travel to Wollongong most weekends just to hang out with them. I just felt like I was missing out, but I knew I wanted to be a chippy. I was always wanted to be a chippy. My older brother's a carpenter as well. I did my carpentry apprenticeship with a legend of a boss. He was such a good dude, and ended up working with a bunch of mates in the company as well. They all moved up from Tarthra and came and worked with us. So we had a
Wow.
South Coast crew with us. It was good fun. And yeah, so that led me to finishing my trade when I got signed off a year early when I was 19, so I completed on my TAFE degree at Belmont TAFE, and then I was fully qualified, which led me to my next chapter of wanting to move overseas and go on a working holiday experience.
Yeah, so talk us through that, because obviously there's a lot of people, and even in my circumstance, my son's going into year 11 next year, and it's crazy to think in a few years' time he's leaving school and what he's actually going to do. And you see a lot of people take that opportunity to finish school and then go and travel the world, which I encourage. For a lot of people, it's such a good opportunity to go and see the world and to work as well. Was that always something you wanted to do, or was that influenced, with your mates traveling and doing all that then?
Yeah, I think I always had in the back of my mind I was going to live overseas somewhere. I didn't really know where at the particular time. I think I just felt like I was kind of wanting to make up for lost time of what my friends were doing when they were at uni. Like I just felt like I was missing out on a fair bit. They were just on holidays flat out, and
Yeah.
I was getting 4 weeks a year. So I just thought once I had to just get to the finish and get it done, which I did. I pumped it out, fully qualified tradesman, 19 years old. I was pretty proud of that, I guess. And then all my mates just still got a few years of uni, not getting paid. So then I jumped on the other end and it was my turn. So I guess out of all them, I coincidentally, like going to Wollongong, seeing the boys, I ended up meeting one of my best mates, Harry, who is a chippy living in Nelson Bay, just north of Newcastle as well. And he's still my best mate today. Like we got along so well, and we were same year carpenter. He was just going to a different trade school and working not too far from me. So we ended up becoming close mates. We'd drive to Wollongong together most weekends, and then we both finished our trade. And I just said to him one day, like, do you want to move to Canada and go to a snow season? And things took off pretty quickly from there.
Yeah, nice. Now, with that too, did you have to organise work before you left, or is it like, let's go on a holiday and try and get work over there? How's that all work?
Yeah, so we applied for, obviously, like state's got to be 21 to drink. I was only 19 at the time, so Canada was probably the main option to do in the snow season, and it's pretty common for Australians to head over to Canada and do snow season. So I had a few friends before me who had done it, and the process was we just apply for a 2-year residency visa, which I think because Canada and Australia, they say they're under the Commonwealth. I don't know really how it works, which makes getting a visa a little bit easier if you're an Australian wanting to work in Canada. So we just applied for the visa, and beforehand I feel like it was one of the things where you're like, shit, do I need a job lined up? I need accommodation lined up? Like thinking that it's going to be packed when I get there. There's going to be no work, but I had nothing lined up, and I winged it. I winged the whole thing. Got there and didn't have a snowboard at the time. Bought a snowboard. We lived in a hostel for the first couple of months trying to find accommodation, but that's it. All works out.
Yeah. Wow. So you took a bit of leap of faith just to follow something you want to do for so long, but then you get there, and I suppose that's a young mindset too, though. You don't have a lot of worries when you're a bit younger, and it's easier to just kind of wing it a little bit and work through. But eventually you find work. What were you doing for work?
Oh, that's a funny one. So me and Haz, we got a job in the kitchen dish pigging, and literally we got all the clothes. I think we did one shift each, and that was it. They didn't see us again. We weren't working there, so that was off to job 2. Job 2 was another kitchen dish pigging. A little bit better pay, I think. Like the pay is absolute rubbish if it's all based on tips. Like you're not front of house, you're in the back, you're getting peanuts, and the people at the front are just making so much money. I was pretty heartbreaking, but job 2 was dish pigging again.
Yeah.
Another restaurant, which I enjoyed a lot more. I was snowboarding all day, coming to work at like 6 and 5 at night, and working all night and then enjoying my life after that. But I ended up towards the back end of the season, I actually worked for a ski rental shop as well and
Oh,
did a bit of both to try to save my money. I was going through it very quickly, but
yeah,
like work over there, it's crazy. There's so much work over there. You get over there and you think like people some people do 3 different jobs in a week. They'll just get one, don't like it, get another one, don't like it, get another one, don't like it. Like the turnover of staff, it must be insane in
yeah.
them ski villages.
Wow.
It's definitely an interesting one. It's a bit like Whistler, where I was, for instance. Like it was strange to kind of hear a Canadian voice. It was just there was so many Australians over there the year I went, but it was such a good time.
Yeah, nice. Now, mate, obviously the next chapter of what's to come, which leads to your accident. Do you want to walk us through what led up to that and how that come about?
Yeah. So I moved over there. It was the end of November. And so that fast forward to early March, and I'm into my last few weeks of the season, and I got tickets booked to go down to Mexico on a surf trip with the boys. I was living with a couple of Sunny Coast boys, and they were all going to Mexico for a surf trip, and then we're going to come back to the States and head to Coachella. So I had tickets bought, Coachella tickets bought, plane tickets ready to go to Mex for the surf trip for a few weeks. And then and then comes to March 18th. We are. I meant to fly to Mex the next day. So I just wanted to make the most of snowboarding while I could for that season. So I snowboarded Whistler early that morning. It was like a beautiful bluebird day. Me and Harry. Like I got a photo seen on top of the mountain, like not a cloud in the sky. Like the sickest day. Um, and then that night we took a friend down to the airport. She was flying back to New Zealand. She broke a collarbone. So she was gone home for a few weeks. So we decided to go night snowboarding above Vancouver City on a mountain called Grouse Mountain, where essentially I think they must do night snowboarding or skiing every Friday night under the lights. And so standing on top of the hill and you're looking literally like snowboarding, like snow, city, ocean. Like it's insane view.
Wow.
It's such a sick view. So this is like roughly 6 at night, and get up top of the mountain. I meet a bunch of mates, my few housemates, and just first run of the night, like just we put up top of the park and sussed it, and there was just a jump below me in front of me, and I guess it was just I just went over a few rails, got to the jump, and as I was approaching the up ramp, like from my memory, like the snow felt very different, and as I was hitting that ramp, I just caught an edge. In snowboarding terms, I call it hitting an edge where, as you're approaching like the jump, my weight shifted onto my heels, onto my heel edge of the snowboard, and left the up ramp on my heel edge, which just kind of resulted in me flat being like 180 flat to the jump, and just landed on my back on the spine of the jump, they call it, and that was it. Like that was as simple as that, and it was kind of, I didn't know what a spinal cord injury really was beforehand, but I knew that second that something wasn't right. Like it's I've read it before too. I've not heard about it where like it feels like your legs go to heaven. Like it literally, like, I felt them left my body straight away. Like I felt like like my legs just lifted up and it was gone. It was such a weird feeling.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, mate. It's in that moment, were you conscious? Like, were you knocked out from the impact, or were you awake the whole time?
Nah, I was cruising. I was awake the
Yeah.
whole time. Like just went to get up and just holy fuck, I can't move. My arms like flapping around a little bit, and then kind of, and then cheers, and then not being able to get up, that kind of freaks you out a bit for sure. You're like, holy crap, what's going on? But I was still definitely oblivious to how bad the injury was.
Mm.
I thought I was just gonna go to hospital and walk out the next day, but it turned pretty serious pretty quickly. It was like a full crew around, and they were stabilising me on the ground for a fair chunk of time, and like just to get to the mountain, like there's no road. The car park's like a couple kilometres down below the hill. You have to get a gondola up there. So yeah, so I was like fully medevaced out down the gondola. Then yeah, ambulances waiting, and then I was like, I just got in the ambulance, and like this how oblivious I was. Like had pretty much a brand new ski jacket on, and she started cutting the jacket off with scissors. I'm like, the fuck you doing? Like I just bought this thing. And she's like, oh, I think this is kind of like the least of your worries at the moment. I'm like, don't cut off my jacket. I need it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she's cutting off all my clothes, and then, I mean, one of them like pretty gangster American ambulance truck looking things, and I was like, holy shit, this is serious. I'm like, the next minute, like the lights and sirens are just flying, and for some reason I don't think I'm this memory. I'm pretty sure they took me to the wrong hospital. They took me to this hospital where they wheeled me in the emergency, and then got in there, and they just pretty much like, no, this is way too bad. Like, turn around, hop back in the ambulance, and went to the. I think I'm not too sure how they stuffed it up, but yeah, they originally took me to the wrong hospital, and then got sent to Vancouver General, which is like the main one for spinal cord injuries, and yeah, it's definitely a interesting situation when you hop out of the ambulance. Like, yeah, there's tons of like hopped out and then wheeled out, and there was, I don't know how many, there would have been like 10, 15 people just quickly circle your bed. And it was all happening from then. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the surgeons gave me a phone call to mum and told mum, like, I don't think this is very good, mum. I think you need to get to Canada.
So you called her, or did they call her?
They called her and then brought the phone over to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know, I felt bad. I'm like, holy shit, I think you need to go to Canada. And then mum and dad were on the next flight. And yeah, I just, yeah, I'm still awake this time. I remember the whole thing. It was wild. And then they went to, so then they went to incubate me, like shove a pipe down my throat, missed it the first time, like went into my stomach accidentally. And then next time they got me, then that's when I wake up. I don't know, wake up a couple of days later in tripping. I was tripping balls when I wake up.
To go back when you first were in that state, obviously you would have been panicking, not knowing and whatnot, but did anyone talk to you about the severity of your injury to say what you've done, or like gave you an outcome, or were you just left in the dark, with
nah, in the ambulance, the ladies, the chicks, like, you're probably never going to walk again. That's kind of when I was like, I didn't really know the difference between quadriplegia and paraplegia at that time. Like, I just thought, okay, I'm never going to be able to walk again, but I'm going to be able to use my arms, so it's all good. I'll still have fun and cruise. Like, I could probably cop not walking, but I'm thinking the whole time I'm kind of thinking that my arms are all good. That I'm like I'll have full hand function, and that when I wake up, everything's gonna be sweet. I mean, it wasn't kind of until I had the surgery, and then wake up, and all I could do was blink, and that's all I could do. Essentially for weeks. That's the only part. I can move my chin and that, but all I could do at the time was blink to communicate for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Which was, it was a bit daunting, or very daunting. But and then like I must have been so high on some medicine, and like I kept having like all these weird. My mates came and visited me, but like they'd be there, then 10 minutes later they'll go on, and like I'd wake up and they'd be there, then they'd be gone, and like it just went on for days, like these random like psychedelic type images of like my mates end of a bed. I'd wake up and they'd be there, then they'd be gone. Like I was tripping. I don't know what was going on, but I was definitely sleeping for a lot of it. Like I was wake up with a pipe. I have a called tracheostomy, where I've got to hole in my throat where they shoved. That's how I don't know. I think you'd probably call it life support for a fair few weeks.
Mm.
I was unable to breathe on my own. Yeah, so all I could do was blink, and um, to communicate, we just had a keyboard with letters on it, like a white piece of paper, and Mum would hold a pen over like the line, and when I'd see a letter, I'd like blink on that line, then she'd run the finger through the line, and I'd double blink on the letter, and that's how I like spelt words for. I think it was about 2 months. I'd use that to communicate just by blinking and communicating. It was nuts.
So you couldn't speak at all during this time?
No,
Wow.
no, I couldn't speak till maybe 7 weeks later when I got back to. So yeah, spent the first few weeks in Vancouver. My brother actually flew over as well, so I had mum, dad, and Will. Like, I was pretty emotional when I see my brother there. He was on the next flight as well, so I was so lucky. Um, yeah, mum, dad, and Will there all by my side in Vancouver. It was nuts. Like, I don't really, I don't know. Not many people have experienced it, and I'm pretty glad they don't need to experience what goes on. That's for sure.
Mm. And mate, mentally, obviously, you know, for yourself, given that situation, what was running through your head during that time? Like, was there, were you out of it a lot of the time, or were you aware of what's going on and your thoughts and emotions during that time? Because, you know, before the incident, you know, you're up and about and, you know, living life, and then that happens. Like, no one likes being in hospital as it is, but to be in your situation during that time, how were you dealing mentally? Like,
Yeah, I think I was still very oblivious to how bad things were for weeks, not alone months. Like, I thought, for some reason, I just kept thinking like everything's gonna be alright. Like, this is just a broken bone. Like, I'm gonna recover soon, and I'll be sweet.
mm,
Um, then then I started really learning like having a spinal cord injuries, and just you're not just walking. There's a lot more that comes to having a spinal cord injury. Like, you're not pissing and shitting the same way you used to. You're not like your whole body changes. Like, you're not feeling heat or cold. You're not temperature. You can't warm yourself up. You can't cool yourself down. You got nerve pain. You feel like you got ants in your skin 24/7. It's like, holy shit. Like, there's a lot more to not being able to move your legs and arms. But
mm,
um, mentally, I got the best family ever. So I was so lucky.
mm,
Um, yeah, from the very start, mum saying like, no matter what, you still gonna have a good life. So that always stuck with me. And yeah, I think my parents and my brother made sure not much. They'll keep things as normal as possible, I guess,
mm.
and do everything they can. So I was super fortunate to have a close family and friends. I got the best friends ever as well. So super lucky to have that. But yeah, I guess it's it's a tough one. A lot of like I spent I spent the next 9 months in a hospital, so there's a lot of nights when you're by yourself. Yeah, it was hard, but yeah, I'm very fortunate for my family and
Mm.
friends.
That's so great, mate. Like, you know, to be in that position and be, you know, in another country too, for such a long period of time, because you were over there that whole time.
Nah, so yeah, so I was in Vancouver. Mum's like so on the ball. She's very clever woman,
Mm,
very smart, and so she was on the phone day one, like organising. I needed it. So plan one was I needed to get Medivac back to Australia ASAP. Like, we just needed to be closer to family and friends. So I was in ICU in Vancouver for a few weeks, and then got transferred to rehab. And I'm not too sure why I was in rehab for. So I think all up is in Canada for maybe 4 weeks.
mhm,
And then so then from there it's called Medivac to home. I had a team of 5. I think I had 5 people with me, like doctors, respiratory doctors, I think physios, a couple of nurses. So they were all part of my Medivac team. And then I was on a commercial Air New Zealand aeroplane, which was like the rear 3 rows of the aircraft were like folded down, and my I had like a full hospital set up on top of the last 3 rows. Like I was lying on a bed on the last 3 rows, and I still wasn't breathing by myself this time. So like just cords dangling out of me everywhere. And like my ventilator to keep me breathing. So then we flew from Vancouver to New Zealand and swapped airplanes in New Zealand to Australia. And then ambulances waiting on the tarmac in Australia, and got taken at the back of the aeroplane and then amboed to Royal North Shore Hospital in Sydney for a few weeks, back into ICU again. And that's where all my other brothers came to visit, and a couple of close family members. So that was probably when I got very emotional, seeing my brothers for sure. And then we Royal North Shore for a couple of months. Still, that's when I learned to breathe, actually. So they what do they do? They deflate a balloon in your tracheostomy, which essentially tries to allow you to breathe. And so I tried it for a fair few times, and I couldn't do it. I just forgot how to talk, which is so weird. Like I didn't know how to make like the sounds to speak, which is, I don't know, you'd never think you'd forget how to talk. Then eventually, just start off with like a little whistle sound, and then it grew to a couple words, and then a couple words a day. But like the hardest part was, so they took it out. Like I was so adamant, I'm not having this breathing apparatus for the rest of my life. Like I'm learning how to breathe on my own. And so they take the machine out, and they've got to like patch it airtight, like the hole on my throat to if it's not airtight and air goes out, then I go to speak, like all the air just comes out the hole and I can't make a sound. So like, it's kind of funny. So they would patch it like super airtight, and it would last for like a couple hours, and then like it might peel off my skin, and I got to talk, and like all the air that I try to breathe comes back out the hole, and so then I'm like mute again. Wow. I can't breathe, and then I can't talk, so can still breathe. So that went on, like I reckon it took a good 2 months for like the hole, which would have been the size of like a 5-cent coin, to naturally heal over. They don't stitch it for some reason.
Oh, wow.
So that was an interesting time.
And so how long do you stay there at that hospital for?
Yeah, so we originally went there because we were just unsure where I was going to live next. That was like the next factor that my family had to choose, like where I was going to go. My mum's in Newcastle, my dad's in Bega on the dairy farm. Like what's going to be the best setting and surrounding for me to leave hospital? And we decided to go back to the farm, which was just a lot of family and a lot more family and friends around, and my dad's house was probably a bit more suitable. So we renovated the house and all that, but essentially, like the Sydney Harbour separates the 2 Sydney hospitals, which is Royal North Shore and Prince of Wales. And so I was at Prince of Wales, essentially maybe going to go to Newcastle at the time, and then decided Bega, so we transferred to Prince of Wales Hospital in Randwick, straight into rehab, and that's where I spent like the next 7 months. From some accident was March the 18th, and I left hospital, I think, on December the 15th. Yeah. And moved back to Bega. So I was pretty glad I went to Prince of Wales. I think it was right there in Randwick. It was in a good spot, very old hospital, but I was having fun in hospital. Like I think I went to 3 music festivals while I was in rehab. I was down Coogee Bay Pavilion with my mates. Like they was still getting me out, and I was living. It was pretty classic, eh? Like driving up to Newcastle on the music festivals, and the boys would come back in like that. Like, I was out so late sometimes. Like they have to call the police if the patients aren't coming back.
Yeah.
They'll come back at like 1 a.m. with the boys, and they're like swinging down the hallway with the hoist, like in trolleys. We're pretty drunk, and they're sitting there like, "What are you doing? Like, we're just better call the cops. So we're going to put a missing person. Like, you can't just stay out for that long." We're far out. It was so funny. Yeah, we used to have some good times in hospital, but
So you could essentially, you're in hospital, but you're allowed to go out, and do what you wanted to do.
yes, this is mainly like it's hospitals. It's kind of like a Monday to Friday rehab, like your IUTs. So yeah, like my day kind of a week looked like um, physio, I think twice a day, and OT maybe once a day. Um, so getting in the gym and just trying to get things moving. And at this stage, my arms were like, at this stage, I could probably only shrug my shoulders. And the first little bit of movement came through just being able to move a hand cycle. So it started off with, yeah, maybe like 10 spins, and then it gradually grew to like 100. So my arms slowly started coming back. But like, for instance, I was driving, I refused to have like a chin control wheelchair where you operate your wheelchair with your chin. And I was refusing, and I was like, there's no way I'm not driving a wheelchair with my chin. Not happening. So I had this makeshift, like a zero gravity armrest type setup, so I could push the joystick forward and back. But if my arm fell off the armrest, this is probably when I'm up until maybe the 7th or 8th month mark, like I couldn't lift my arm back onto the armrest. Like that's how limited my movement was. Like if it fell down by my side, like couldn't move it again. Like it's stuck. Um, but yeah, so over that period, like the strength slowly started coming back. They say a spinal cord injury, about up to the 2 years, you roughly know what you're going to get back in the first 2 years because your spinal cord is still in shock.
Yeah.
So things are still coming back, but yeah, soon found out I was a C4 quadriplegic, they call it, where the fourth vertebrae, I dislocated my spine between the fourth and fifth vertebrae and squished my spinal cord, which resulted in a classification of Asia A, they call it, which means essentially Asia A means no motor sensory function below level injury, or like no feeling, no function. And then as you move up, like the Asia score, Asia B or C, like Asia C, you might be able to like wiggle your toes and feel your legs. Asia D, you might be walking, but everyone still has a spinal cord injury of some sort. But so I was classified C4 Asia A, which is one level high, I'd be ventilated for the rest of my life, and one level lower, I could be living by myself independently. So the difference of where that is on the spinal cord is insane. Like, then go one level lower again, you're nearly a paraplegic and you got full arm function. So yeah, it's a game of millimeters when it comes to spinal cord of function and no function.
Yeah. It's almost 10 years since it's happened. Is that right?
10 years in
In
next
March.
March, yeah.
How long from the incident to where you are now? How long have you been how you are now? Like, how long was that process to get to, doing what you do? Because we'll talk about in a minute, you actually can drive a car. So how long was the process to get to where you are now?
Yeah, probably I spent the first couple of years really pumping out the rehab. Like I was given everything. I went to the States for a few months and trained over there in like back then, which they would call was like one of the leading spinal cord facilities in the world, rehab facilities. So I was went to the stage and I was training at home nearly every day, and actually, yeah, like a functional electrical stimulation bike where keeping my legs moving and stimulated. I was doing that a couple of days a week. Standing was one of my massive goals. I wanted to stand. Um, yeah, so kind of once you hit like I feel in mine like the fifth, 6 year mark, like you know what you got. You kind of plateau. Like you're not losing anymore, but you're not really gaining anymore.
Mm.
And then it's just essentially of just adapting and working with what you got, and you essentially then you're just learning little tricks of how to do things. Yeah, you just figure out ways, and then you just work on them ways, and then that gradually becomes easier. So, like for me, like I've got no hand function, I've got no wrist function, but I can still like bring a coffee cup up to my face and or like grab a beer. Like I can't grasp a beer, but I can bring it up to my face and get it in my mouth somehow.
Yeah.
I'll figure that out. That's for sure. That was a pretty big win for me.
Mm.
Um,
Pretty determined to do
yeah, I was very determined.
that.
No, at the start, I'm not having a beer till I can hold it, and then yeah, that didn't last very long. Um, yeah, you just gradually learn to adapt with what you got, I guess.
Mm.
Um, things get easier, systems get easier, and you learn. But it's a full time job. It is. It's a bloody full time job to have a spinal injury. It's not easy.
Now, mate, on that, what's a day look like for you? You know, we talk about like I love routine, like I'm all about it. Like, and most of us, have a pretty, I would say, easy day. You know, doing the basic things that we take for granted. What's your day look like for you?
Yeah. Um, yeah. So essentially, I've carers come in every morning. And every morning it's a minimum 2 hours from getting my carers come in to me sitting in the wheelchair to start the day. Minimum 2 hours. So that involves like they come, I get a little stretch in bed, um, and then bathroom, toilet. So I can't go to the toilet by myself. Um, so they assist with that, and then showering, going back to bed, getting changed, get in the chair. Yeah, that's a minimum 2 hours. So if I need to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, I've got to be I've got to be starting my routine at 5 in the morning.
Mm,
So that's every day of the week,
yeah.
and been like that for the last 10 years. So that's a tough one. That one.
Mm,
Yeah, just not being able to. Just always need to thinking ahead of where like if you want to go somewhere, like where can I stay? Like what's the bathroom going to be like? Or is there any steps getting in the house? Like can I do this? There's so much forward thinking.
mm,
Of your everyday life of what's going on. So yeah, once I'm out of bed, there's breakfast onto my computer normally and just helping checking emails and um I gotta I'm on the NEIS, so I'm essentially a boss to my workers in a way where they'll invoice me all the invoices and I'll have to pay them and work out like who's working, fill shifts if someone's sick or away,
mm.
um, fill in my care team. So yeah, there's a lot. It's like it is a full blown job of having a spinal cord injury.
Are they with you, mate? Your carers? So are they with you 24/7, or do
Nah,
they come and go?
yeah. So I have ones that mainly come in the morning. They just help get out of bed, and then I try to have one of the couple of the girls during the week, and then for the rest of the week, it's me and my girlfriend Maddie. Normally, she helps out a lot. She's an OT as well, which is
Oh wow.
very, and she's a legend. She's a most supportive girlfriend.
Mm,
And my brother is my main carer, and he has been since day one. Like I'm
yeah.
super lucky to have Will. Like he's helped me with absolutely everything in my life. Like wouldn't be where I am without Will for sure. Like he's dropped his whole life to support me. Like left uni, left his friends, and moved back to Bega with me, and he's taken me on all these overseas holidays and trips, and him and the boys, like, they don't let anything get in the way of the stairs we're going up them. If
Mm,
like he'll whenever the boys go away, like he's my main carer, and he's the one that actually helps me shower and bath and do all them things. So I definitely would not have had the most like I wouldn't be able to do half of the things that I've done today without Will. Like, I'm super grateful, and everyone in this spinal cord injury community like sees how much of a legend Will is, and yeah, they very envy of us of how lucky we
mm.
are to have each other, I guess.
That's beautiful, bro. It's like you say, I know how much he means to you, and you've shared that. And I suppose when you're struggling so much with your own circumstance, and to know your own brother is almost dedicates his whole life to you. You know, I know how important that must feel to you, and I know speaking to you how important it is. It goes to show how important family is. Um, a lot of us we can't choose our family, but it's a lot of us to have special bonds like you've got with your brother must motivate you every day to do what you do. But um, what brought you to the Gold Coast?
The weather. So yeah, one of my biggest things is I can't warm myself up in temperature in climate. So when it's too cold, like I'm freezing. Like you'll see me in a hoodie so often. And then the opposite, like you can't cool yourself down. But that doesn't really worry me too much. I'm a lizard. I love the sun. So yeah, just being in Bega and on the farm was too cold and too isolated for what I needed. It was good for the start, like just to adapt to my injury and learn, be out of the spotlight for a bit and then get up here and just get reintegrated back in the community and
Mm,
social life and I attend a rehab facility, be it like a specialized spinal rehab center making strides in Burley. So um that was probably the two biggest things. Yeah, I just wanted to get back into life and warm climate and bit of a change where I didn't really know anyone, which was nice.
mm. Mentioned making strides before. Do you do all that one-on-one stuff, or is there stuff you do in a team, like with other people there as well? Do you interact with people at rehab, or is that just specifically for your own needs?
No, it's very much a community. Like you learn, like I learned so much from the other people in wheelchairs there. Like we all feed off each other. Like everyone's figured something out that helps them in their everyday life, which then we just pass. Everyone's passing the information on to help each other because we want to make it easier for each other. So like yeah, everyone is asking questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? And then so that was like finding all these little tips and tricks that other people do makes life so much easier. So it's all community, but then when you're doing your session, it's one on one, you and the trainer, EP.
Mm.
So um, yeah, they do a lot of social gatherings and community events. So yeah, it's good like that for sure.
Yeah, nice. Now, what else keeps you busy, mate? I know build care is something that's pretty close to your heart. Do you want to explain to everyone what that's all about?
Yeah, so back in 2021, um, myself and a close family friend, Kane, and one of his colleagues, Dan, we set up a charity called Build Care, which is based down in Newcastle, where they live and where I was before my accident. So yeah, it's a not for profit. We're all volunteers, and we're just leveraging off Kane's network within the construction industry to help um, build accessible housing for those with spinal cord injuries. And the end goal is to be a circular, profitable model where we can place funds into spinal cord research year on year to hopefully fast track a cure, essentially. So, and yeah, like the next 20-year-old kid who's in hospital with spinal cord injury, hopefully the day he leaves hospital, it's going to be better than what I left 10 years ago to, yeah, it's just improving the world we live in and making life easier and housing options there for people. to live independently, and
Mm.
yeah, hopefully their life's they leave, it's just back into normality ASAP, and they can get on with it, and hopefully in the background there's a cure coming. That's the goal.
So would they essentially move into this house as a, you know, stepping stone to then go out and live on their own, or is this accommodation that they could actually live at full time?
No, this is for them to live full time
Yeah.
independently. So yeah, it's 4 units, and it's designed by a local architect, Weber, that they donated the full architectural side of things, and we've got engineers coming on board, and um, like so many companies have donated services, goods and services. So essentially, like the build's gonna be a lot cheaper than a normal construction build, and then yeah, it's 4 units with an overnight nurses' quarter where over during the nighttime, like for me, for instance, I probably wouldn't go too many nights sleeping solo. I do sleep home by myself sometimes, but essentially, these 4 people will have access to an on-site support worker during the night if they needed anything,
Mm.
in case of emergency. So yeah, so that means they can spend all day with their whoever their support workers are, friends, family. Come home, come at night, and then once the support workers leave, they're still in a safe environment with someone just downstairs or on the same level if they need help during the night. And then next morning, their normal care team will come in and get their day started. So it just cuts out having them needing to have someone 24/7
Mm.
by their side essentially, where they can be at their own house by themselves, solo for a bit, and enjoy that. 'Cause I think you need it. You do need to be able to, I don't know, have a bit of his solo time for sure.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, especially when you got people around you all the time, every, minute, sometimes it must feel, and then to be able to do it and live that little bit more independently would, be so encouraging for a lot of people. But do you feel, mate, now, like given your circumstance, do you feel this is part of your mission now to use your experience in your life? Because everything you've shared today, everything's positive. It's, you've got such a mindset around wanting to help and using your situation to, help other people. Is that where your heart is now with what you're doing and keeping you busy with your mission with Build Care?
Yeah, so yeah, I was serving a purpose for my community, I guess. And just yeah, wanting to get this over the line, and like it's kept my brain busy, which is amazing. It's like I've learnt so much about essentially kind of like running the business, which has been like it's been an amazing learning journey for me too. Like I've learnt so many little ins and outs of not just like the charity side of things, like essentially how running the business works as well, and learning websites and social media and all the back end type of things. It's been very and organising events. It's been a different challenge. It's been fun. So yeah, I guess that's my purpose and goal at the moment. And Will's got a care company that he set up, Siblings Care Services, where he supports other people with spinal cord injuries in the community as well. So and he's got his little purpose, and he still looks after me on the side. But yeah, so we just want to make it easier for other people. Yeah, I guess we're just in a bit more fortunate state where some people don't have that, and
Mm.
we can give them all our tips and tricks and insight to how to do things and live a live an independent life. That's our goal.
Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. We spoke earlier about the car. I've seen a video on your Instagram of you actually driving a car. Run me through that experience and the process to get to that point, because for a lot of people in your situation, it's easy to jump straight to the limitations of what you can't do, and then to have the motivation and the will to want to actually not just be stuck in what most people assume you can do, and then to be like determined to do things yourself and be more independent as much as you could be. Run us through that process.
Yeah, that was a. This is only all came about maybe 6 years down the track. I've seen it. I've seen a few people drive kind of my scenario. I thought I wouldn't mind giving it a go. It was a bit daunting. Like, so people out there, like, I literally can't move my wrist or arm, my hands or fingers. I can move my arms around my shoulders and my biceps, but there's not much more in my arms than that, really. Um, so yeah, I gave it a go up here. I had this bloke came over and I tried this car, and I was essentially just driving off this car was a van was driving off like a joystick essentially. So it was steering and accelerating and brake like all on one joystick, and I did that, and I buddy, that was the scariest thing ever. I'm like, holy shit, like this is not fun. Like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Nearly crashed heaps. Like, went around a roundabout and just like couldn't turn, and it was like, holy, like this is fucked. I'm not fucking driving, and and just kept exploring. Ended up finding a place in Sydney, so I flew down to Sydney and did this other trial with a different company, like a bit of a different hand control setup. Whereas like one side of my arm was accelerated brake, the other side was just essentially steering. Off like so the steering, like turning the steering easy as pushing the brake is like essentially just pushing like a 50-cent coin on the table. Like that's how much resistance there is, not much. And it did that, and then it got the green tick. Like, yeah, you can drive. We'll just gotta get your van and then get a bit more of a customized setup. So yeah, this is during COVID. So yeah, I got the van. That took a couple of years to come, and got it all set up. Went to Melbourne, got the floor cut out, ramp put in, and off to Sydney and got all the hand controls done. Where yeah, I'd go down to Sydney and so I'd drive out of my wheelchair essentially. So just placement of wheelchair, hand controls, heights, and yeah. So I got the van and had a bloke come up from Melbourne to do driving instructions. So luckily he could plug like a mechanism in onto his lap where he could press a button and take over the whole car while I was learning. So that was like, if he didn't have that, there would be no car left already. Like there was no way. Yeah, so I'd started in a car park over at the uni near the airport and just learning how to brake. Like I still hate it this time. Like it wasn't fun. Like this is more scarier than it is fun. And each time he came back, he would go to Melbourne and we'd come back 6 weeks later and we'd drive again. And each time he come back, I was getting a little bit better each time. And then, he was like, come back over. He's like, this is my last time I'm coming. Like, we'll go get your L's. So I had to like pretty much restart the whole process. So I got my L's actually, and then went L's straight to my P's. But like, it's kind of a funny story in between. So I got another van that I can't drive. I sit in the back, and my brother got a speeding ticket in it, and the car's registered in my name. And the speeding ticket got sent to my dad's house, and dad wasn't opening the mail, and so I had my L's at this time to do this practice driving in Sydney, and that I needed my license. And so I got my L's and so my van got a speeding fine under my name, and then essentially, so now I've gone to get my license, and they're like, the license has been suspended. Like, you got a speeding fine, hasn't been paid. I'm like, you're joking. So then, like, I can't even drive the van that I got a speeding fine, and it's come under my name. And to get my license back, I had to go to Tweed Magistrate Court, like literally go in, stand in front of the judge, and for him to reinstate my license. Like, it was insane. I'm in there with drink drivers and people, like, and for me to get my license back, that I didn't even do it. It was nuts. So I had to go to the judge, get my license reinstated. And I had to cop for some reason, my license, I had to cop the points because they couldn't change it. It was too far done. So that was pretty classic. And then, so now, like, when I do my reg on that, I have to say that I've lost points and it cost me more. So I got my license and did my L's test and got 100, and the dude's like, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. Like, you've done very well, got my license. And then, yeah, from there, it's just more repetition and practice and minor adjustments. And
Mm.
so, yeah, so like to this day, like the OT's like wired the keys into my wheelchair so I can unlock the van, open the door off the joystick, pull the ramp down, drive into the car, dock in, turn on the car with a touchscreen button. Got my hand controls in front of me. Like as the car turns on, a headrest comes behind me. The headrest has like the blinkers on it, left, right, horn, window wipers, like whatever you want. And
So is that how you operate those controls?
blinkers, yeah, with my
Yeah.
head,
Yeah. Yeah.
left, right, and then yeah, window wipers, horn, and whatever you want. So,
Wow.
and then yeah, it's all touchscreen gears. You just put it in gear and touchscreen, and yeah, so I accelerate and brake with my left side and my steer with my right, and yeah, off I go. It's
Yeah. Good.
it's pretty amazing. Best thing I've ever done now.
Oh.
Like,
And do you have any limitations around that? Like, you can go the speed limit normal, like all that kind of stuff is just
yep.
normal?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on full license.
Yeah. Nice.
Drive up and down the motorway to go to rehab and go to my mate's house. I'm cruising.
That's so good.
You wouldn't even know. Oh, if you put up me next to me in a traffic light, you looked over, you'd be like, "What's going on here?" It's funny, yeah. I can't. I need more black tinted windows. I think
Yeah.
it scares a few people. Um, yeah, it's very fun and it's
Mm.
very life changing for me to be able to just jump in a car and
Oh, I
go
could
to my mate's
imagine, mate.
house. Yeah, it's definitely been the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of your life is just relying on other people,
Yeah,
so even just that one thing to be able to like, I want to go do this and you can do it, but to see it firsthand, man, it is pretty incredible.
yeah,
On that too, and we'll go back, talking about limitations of, you're in your situation and most people think, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And um, fun fact, you skydive about
yeah,
12 months after your accident. And I've only learnt this just recently, but for most people seeing that it would be hard to believe how, but
yeah.
share us that experience.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a while ago now. So it would be nearly be 9 years ago. Um, yeah, I've just left hospital, and a bloke in hospital, he was a skydive instructor and had a company in Wollongong that he set up for me to go skydive. Yeah, I definitely don't think I wasn't the first. But yeah, so essentially got lifted in the plane. That was lifting the plane, and then I had all my brother and my mates with me. It was cool. It was sick. We had a hell crew. Once I'm like, I'm going, and all my mates jumped on. Like when I went to America, I'm going to America, and 7 of our boys came with us as well. So they're there every step of the way. And yeah, so they load everyone in, and I'm last to get in because I'm first out. I'm up against the door. Um, yeah, and so we went up just normal, and like, yeah, I didn't realize you go so bloody high. Like I'm looking down, going, surely we're not getting much higher than this. Like this is high. And then they open the door, and they throw my legs out, and I'm just sitting there like dangling out of this plane, like, and my brother's just screaming next to me. He's like, "What is going on?" And so because they got to get me set, like they put like I can't move my legs, so they're like wiggling my legs out, like dropping my legs over the edge of the plane, and they're just making sure everyone's set. And so they just essentially just like tied my knees and ankles together. I like join, yeah, so they don't flap around sideways. And then we jump, and then yeah, well, that was all normal. But I tell you what, like I nearly felt like I nearly dislocated both my shoulders just from I don't have any muscles there, and like the pressure of having your arms like
Mm,
up behind you as you like falling, like that was.
wow.
I was like, holy shit, I'm about to lose both my shoulders here. And then yeah, once they pull the parachute, they pull my legs into the instructor's chest. So when we land, my feet don't touch the ground first. It's all on the instructor's feet. So yeah, that was a cool experience. It was a while ago, but it was just yeah. If goes to show, like you can just still do a lot of things.
Mm,
Yeah, definitely can still do a lot of things. Like I got a surfboard that I go with the boys sometimes. I just got to bloody get out there and get amongst it. It's slack, I guess. But yeah, I've surf snapper and wave pool in Melbourne, and that
Wow.
was good fun.
It's incredible. Mate, before we wrap up, is there anything, for other people out there that are going through similar situation to yourself, or just any challenges, in life? Is there anything that, you can share with them, any encouragement, for people who are in a situation like yours?
Yeah, I guess things do get better. They do. Like if you persist, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, so you just have to put yourself in them circumstances and get out of your comfort zone. Um, yeah, it's for me, it was just not dwelling on my injury and just moving on with it. 'Cause you sit there and dwell on it, like it's just you're just gonna be going backwards, I guess.
Mm,
So I don't know. It's like I've come to terms with my injury, I guess. And it just allows me to just move on and do things I want to do,
mm,
and be proactive and not not sitting back and waiting, or just not accepting the things that come to you, because like a lot of cool opportunities arise. So you just gotta take them and just go with the flow, I guess.
mm. Well, mate, it's an inspiring story. A lot of people are going to be so uplifted by hearing your story and what you've been through, and more importantly, what you're doing today, to help other people. I love your heart, mate. I love everything that you're about, and you're going to inspire so many people. And I'm just honoured to share this space with you today, mate, and wish you all the best for the future.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for tuning in to the Rise Above podcast. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and be part of these real conversations. A big thank you to Active Coolangatta for proudly sponsoring this podcast. Your support means a lot. You can catch every episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.